Good morning, everybody. It's another great day here in the land of the Philippines. I'm going for my morning walk with my morning big coffee. We'll see what other things we can chat about. All the secrets that I've learned in 10 years of staying here. The first thing I want to talk about today is getting sick. Getting sick in the Philippines is much different than getting sick in America. Oh, some more dogs. So here, everyone does speak English. That's the good part. I've been to Thailand before. Thailand, I do believe it is actually cheaper to get sick and go to the hospital there. But the problem is communication. That's going to be the biggest problem because they don't speak English there. And I know there's a lot of people who move to Thailand. I understand that. They have some very nice beaches. The people seem very nice. I never had a problem with Thailand. Hey, come here. My dog's always chasing cats. I never had a problem with Thailand. The only problem is communication. And how important is communication? Well, that is the foundation and the cornerstone of all relationships. How can you have a relationship if you can't communicate with the person? So, there we go. If you tried to go date in Thailand, you might have some problems. I'm sure there's many people who have Thai wives. That's great. Hey, come here. Oh my gosh. Come here. My dog is talking to some other dogs. I have found that it's much easier to go somewhere where they speak your language. My Spanish is not good, so I wouldn't go to a place that speaks Spanish. So that leaves a few countries if you want to go to an Asian country. Of course, in Malaysia, they do speak English also. Indonesia is less. So, of course, we're talking about medical today. Now, if you go to any hospital in America, in Canada, and most likely in Australia, they're going to have something called tropical disease. There's going to be a doctor who specializes in tropical diseases. Well, that's the one thing that you're not going to find here in the Philippines is a tropical disease. Gosh, my freaking gimbal is just looking somewhere else. It must have ADHD. It can't focus. You're not going to find a tropical disease doctor in the Philippines because they're all considered tropical diseases here. You're in the tropics. This is not the African tropics. This is the Pacific tropics. And there are different diseases in different tropics. So if you go to Japan, they have the Japanese encephalitis. And different countries have different other problems. But here we have other problems that came from Africa. They say Ebola. They say COVID. Many diseases came from Africa. That's where they all started. So, the first thing we're going to talk about is dengue. Dengue comes from mosquitoes, and it's similar to malaria. Dengue originated in Africa. That's where they find the origins. And it is a potentially deadly virus. Like I said, carried by mosquitoes. And it usually starts occurring in the wet season. You'll have a lot of mosquitoes start biting people, and even highly advanced societies like Singapore, they're unable to stop most dengue outbreaks. They go from door to door and look for mosquito eggs, look for standing water. It works somewhat. They tried breeding programs to breed these sterile males. They try everything. In America, they fumigate and fumigate, and they have kept the numbers down. If you get dengue, I got it after 7 years. It was my first time. It was a real shock. I don't know where I got it from. Some people have little to no reaction, but it was after like 4 days in bed with a high fever. I finally went to the hospital. I could barely walk, and they just put you on IV there. There is some native plants, and I believe it's called tawi tawi. It has been studied. It is supposed to reduce fever and symptoms in at least 70% of the people. And so remember that. I think you can get now tawi tawi capsules, and I think I'm pronouncing that right, tawi tawi. It's a type of herb plant, and you'll find out the people here who've lived all their life in Philippines, they have a lot of medicinal local practices to stop. But if you see on Facebook a lot of children's funerals, and this is across the world too, Africa, Bangladesh, India, dengue is it's a killer of children and old people, and a few normal people die too. And it's similar to bubonic plague. The bubonic plague, the Black Death that occurred in Europe, I don't know, what was it, 1700s? It is another hemorrhagic disease. You'll start, what happens is your red blood cells, the virus does a lysis, I believe. Lysis means to chop open or split. So it splits them open and it just liquefies your red blood cells. And then you start bleeding out your ears, your eyes, your nose, and all your other orifices. That's dengue. Let's talk about dengue's cousin, and that would be chikungunya. And you say, my God, I've never heard of that kind of chicken. Well, it's spelled different. It's from Africa. And what does it mean? The translation comes from some African word. I looked it up on Wikipedia. It means bent over, hunched over, like you're in pain. So when I lived in Makati, there's so many people, so many mosquitoes. And so the first thing I thought it was a reaction to antibiotics. I had pain in every joint, and it felt like you suddenly have a 100% body arthritis in every joint of your finger, even your teeth sockets, your ear. I mean, everywhere you didn't know you had a joint socket, you probably don't on your ear. But my God, it was painful. And so you get dehydrated. It is almost the same as dengue, but it's not life-threatening. It's just a painful, painful thing. I think Lindsay Lohan or one of those other people, if you read about it, I think they got it on some Bora Bora. They went to some tropical island and they got bit, got either dengue or chikungunya. You can Google that. Anyway, it's painful. I went to St. Luke's Hospital for that one, and they didn't have a dengue test. They just tell you it's viral, and it will it will take care of itself. Go home and take care of yourself and go home and rest. And I did that, and every week I went for IV fluid therapy to get rehydrated. I went to Makati Med, so I was a frequent flyer. That's what we call it when you go to the ER a lot. I was a frequent flyer at Makati Med. That's the hospital, and that is that's in Makati. And yeah, I went every month, maybe every 2 weeks. I really felt bad and got some more fluid, and I survived it. The next thing is we have a lot of vaccinations for stuff that we really don't know what it is, like typhoid and other stuff. Well, I found out what typhoid was. So I had gone to Baguio, and I went to a hot spring with some other people. They were at the hot spring. They weren't my friends, but they were friendly. And I ate some chicken at the normal chicken place, which is called Andox. And I can't tell you where the typhoid came from. I cannot tell you if it was the handling of the chicken, if somebody was carrying typhoid that worked in the kitchen. I cannot tell you if it came from the pool that I was at. But the first thing you're going to notice, if you get typhoid, and even if you got the shot, your shot is the vaccine is 70% effective. You're going to notice headaches and they just move around. You might have a headache in the front, then it's the back, then it's the side. And you'll get kind of an orange diarrhea. And you'll feel like crap. So those are some of the telltale signs of typhoid. And some people have a very, very bad reaction to typhoid. I guess it kills some people. I don't know. Going this way. Come here, doggy. I'm sure some people die from all kinds of stuff. It didn't kill me. It took a while to get the test and to be tested for it. But there is a test. My dog is visiting other dogs. Hey, come on. Now he's racing. Okay, gonna race the other dogs. All right, there you go, dogs. All right, the dogs are doing their thing. So again, typhoid, if you get your vaccines, you have a higher chance of not being sick. Here's one of my other secrets. So if you have to go to St. Luke's is I guess it is the most expensive hospital here in the Philippines. If you have to go there, if you think that's the best place for you versus some of the other places, they have something called the quads. If you look at the price of their room per night, and you say, wow, that's just too expensive, and it is like 4 times as expensive as another hospital. Morning. It's 4 times as expensive. They have a big piano in the lobby. I probably have Starbucks and stuff, so you're paying for the ambiance, but I don't need to pay that much for a room. So there's something called the quads. I think that's what it's called. So there's 4 rooms in one, and they're all separated by partitions and stuff, better than curtains. So if you have to go to Makati, Makati, or it's Bonifacio Global. If you need to go there for St. Luke's and you need to stay over the night, ask them, do they have the 4-in-1 shared room? And I found it really nice. It's small, and it's very affordable if you're trying to save some money. All right. So the next topic would be finding medical help when you're out of the city or you're in a remote place. So I have the theory, better to have it and not need it than don't have it and need it. So when that comes to the discussion of on-hand medicine, I prefer to have as much medicine with me and my family at all times. And then if I need to self-medicate with these medications in the event of emergency, well, it gives me a little, makes me feel a lot better. So what are we talking about? Well, we're talking about, like most antibiotics, of course, first aid, bandages, antiseptics, things like that. So doxycycline, tetracycline, the things that you would need if you were going to go on like a wilderness survival. Because if someone gets really, really sick in the middle of nowhere, and here it could be hours before you can find a proper medical facility. There are doctors in the middle of nowhere, but are they home? Are they on vacation? Do they have the medicine you need? There are little pharmacies, I mean, all over. But like I said, it's better to have it. Even for my son, he has epilepsy. So we always carry extra medicine for his epilepsy. And, you know, you don't want to be in a bad situation, and being remote, it does lend itself to making an uneasy situation. If you're 8 hours on a mountain road away from a hospital, you have emergency, your statistical chances of surviving go down drastically. Same for a heart attack. If you were to have a myocardial infarction, which is the real name for a heart attack, anything like that far away from a hospital, your chances of survival are very low. If you had some nitroglycerin, that would help you. So you need to think about that when you come to the Philippines, and I know you will. Everyone who's watching this will eventually come here. Think about that. Think of having a big bag of emergency medicine, whatever you're going to need. Because when you need it, you need it. Let's see what else. As I told before on some of my other videos, my stomach is just, it never was a Superman stomach. I didn't grow up in Bangladesh or India or on the streets of, you know, someplace like that. So I avoid street food. And I know you're all gonna say, oh, but it's so yummy, yummy. I only need you to go Google Disgusting Habits India street food. Why don't you all go search that on YouTube, and you'll see the people washing the utensils that everyone shares. They're washing it in street water. And you're saying, well, Thailand is better. You know, I'm not the one washing the dishes. What are you going to do? You're going to be like the people, halal, and those people bring your own dishes and utensils? Okay. So the rabbi blessed all your spoons and forks. He burned them with a holy flame, and you got your stainless steel plate there because you're going to go by the ancient Jewish and halal, the Islamic thing. Well, you don't know if the food was handled properly. You don't know if the people have typhoid working there. I don't know. It's up to you. I've been to the ER 150 times over the years for just really bad stomach cramps, diarrhea, nausea, and it's usually from food. That's what I have to tell you. It's just, and it happens in almost every country. That's why I carry bentonite clay. That's why I carry activated charcoal. And come here, don't go in that yard. Come here. You can read about bentonite clay. There's some shows on Discovery Channel that show how they really came about discovering bentonite clay. Is an anti-parasitic. It does all these other things. They watch the monkeys near the volcano. When they're sick, they go near the volcano mud. They put it on themselves for a mud bath, a cheap day at the monkey spa, and then they eat it. And when they eat it, they get better. So they said, how can this be? Well, bentonite clay is a type of volcanic mud that happened due to volcanic activity. And it has, I guess, a positive charge or negative charge. And it grabs bad things that are oppositely charged and pulls them out of your body. So it's a detoxifying agent. And it can handle some other bad stuff too. So that's why I'm recommending bentonite clay. You just put a spoonful in a water bottle and you shake it, and you know, you drink it as needed. Don't drink too much. It might give you constipation. But I don't know which is worse, having super duper diarrhea, super duper constipation. They're all in the same field. Let's see what else. Activated charcoal. So that's the other thing to neutralize potentially hazardous stuff, pathogenic things you might have eaten by accident. So I would keep those with you. The normal stuff that we carry, turmeric, little turmeric pills, those are good at curing some quick illnesses from food. Turmeric, activated charcoal, and of course, bentonite clay. In Malaysia, they manufacture something. It starts with an M. It's a little sachet. And if you get sick over there, it is bentonite clay, but it's really finely processed. It's really powdery. They, like I said, I forgot what it's called, but they have it there on the store shelves. If you're ever in Malaysia, try to buy some of that before you get sick. And of course, I did get sick in Malaysia. I can't say I like the food there. I like the Indian food, North Indian. But the South Indian food, it's not my cup of tea. I guess it's because there's so many flies on the food before they give it to you. It just, for me, it doesn't have the allure of a nice food. It's just flies and maggots and whatever else. And of course, that food, it probably originates from Bangladesh, and I can't say Sri Lanka, somewhere around there. Okay, so the next thing is the price to see a doctor, the cost of medical. So, like I said, Thailand, whoop, I'm here. Thailand is much more affordable. However, you know, you have problems associated with that. And the other thing is, you can see a specialist doctor here. Specialist doctor, usually same day. So I know that's hard to believe. I think the last time I was in Atlanta, they said you need to see, I forgot, urologist. I guess it was a 4-month wait. 4 months, you know, if you have cancer, if you have a really bad problem, 4 months to see a specialist. Well, here, you won't have to wait 4 days. You might have to wait 40 minutes, maybe an hour. Oh, more dogs. So, the other day, I go in, I want to see a specialist, a gastroenterologist. She had no patience waiting. there's quite a number of hospitals, and this is in Angeles City, and they have 2 or 3 gastro, usually at every hospital on different days. I mean, so that is one thing to consider. Even if you don't have medical insurance, which I don't, I just pay cash, this is a cheaper place to live. And also, how much is your life worth, if we're talking about, if you could put a number on it, versus medical care? Many people in the United States die because they don't go seek medical care because they don't have any money. That's a truly capitalist society. Those who have money survive, and those who don't do not. So this place, while it is based on capitalism, the doctors here are not the kind in America that see very few patients and make a lot of money. Here, the doctors are not that rich, but they go to the same type of medical school. Some of them even have worked in America. So they're going to prescribe most of the same medicines. If you need to see a cardiovascular surgeon, I'm sure you could just go there. Maybe it's 1 or 2 days to see him, based on his availability. So instead of waiting 4 months in Atlanta to see if I had cancer, what did I do? I just booked another ticket. I was there taking care of some business. I just booked another ticket right back here to the Philippines, and I went and saw a urologist. They do some kind of ultrasound, and they rule out cancer. And so, what was the price? What's the price of that on my stress level? Well, it's priceless. Because if you sit around worrying, oh, here's the engine sound so rough. If you sat around for 4 months worried if you have cancer, I don't know, you might have a mental illness to go with your cancer, some stress-induced other problem. So, that's really not the greatest thing. So that's a solution for anyone who has medical problems. They have something here called PhilHealth. PhilHealth is not an insurance. PhilHealth is more of a, I guess you call it an auxiliary payment. Let me explain how it works. So you would think health insurance, I give you money, I have health insurance, I have deductible. Okay, that would be a true insurance. PhilHealth, let's say that I gave them 3,000 American. If I had a major operation, I think they take 25% off. There's a discount, but it's not free. I still have to shell out for the rest. So it's like a discount club. You join, you pay an amount. And they have different rates for like birth or maternity. You pay a certain price and then you get a discount. So you'd have to crunch the numbers. You'd have to hire some medical accountant if you can't crunch the numbers yourself, and see if it's really worth it. And that leads me to my next story. So I had been eating the McDonald's all my life. And I guess at age 44, 45, it finally caught up with me. I started having problems like nausea, can't sleep, and after eating, I didn't know what was wrong with me. Yeah, am I overweight? I'm an American, so I have to say I put that on the checklist. I am overweight. I've been overweight for a while, many years. And so I blame that on maybe antibiotics has messed up our gut flora, and we're prone to be fat. Hey, come here. Woo. Needless to say, I started having these problems and they were really painful. You couldn't really breathe, you couldn't sleep at night. I was in Tacloban, and you know Tacloban is famous for the typhoon that killed many people there. Many of these homeless people were camped on the edge of the shore there, and they were probably, I don't know, 5,000, 10,000 homeless people. Well, they call them squatters here. Their houses are just made out of whatever they could find, so shanty town, whatever you want to call them. I guess that was their home. Needless to say, they didn't think the storm surge was going to be so big. The people did not evacuate up the mountain right behind them. And so when it came in, maybe it was 30 or 40 feet tall, it killed them. It pushed their bodies up on top of power lines, and I knew people who were actually there that survived it. Goodness gracious. And so I was there a couple years after, visiting and checking the place out. And I started having these problems, the pain. I go to the hospital, and that was Divine Word. I think that's the name of it now. They all have some fancy name. Divine Word, it's the best hospital in Tacloban that I know of. And so they said, yeah, you have a gallbladder problem, take some pills. Nothing, oh my gosh, nothing. It's the worst pain you've ever had. And so I felt I wasn't getting the treatment I needed at the ER. So I said, hey, I'm gonna go to a different hospital. And I heard there was a doctor's hospital. Well, that sounds even better. My God, something owned by the doctors? So I got a little trike at the middle of the night and went to this other place. My gosh, the other place is a ghost town. It is a deserted hospital with a few people still hanging on. But that's where I decided to stay because I got more care there. And I guess I was like there for 4 days in really bad pain. You know, they did ultrasound. They said your gallbladder's messed up. Take these synthetic bear salts. I think I was discharged after 4 days. But that's it goes to show I wouldn't go it alone. The first thing you need to do in any country when you get there is find some companionship, somebody who will go with you. And you know, that's up to you, your comfort level. But you need to find someone to be able to help you in an emergency, because I've been other places and I just almost passed out on the street from eating something, some rotten food, some toxic food. So it makes you feel really bad. Now you're the new homeless guy. You're a foreigner on the street. I was in Ormoc, Leyte at the time. I could barely ask for help. I was so sick. Don't be in that position. Find someone. Even if you have to bring somebody from your own country, don't go it alone, because like I said, many people die alone in their hospital rooms, and the other people die of heart attacks in their hotel rooms. There's no one to call, because when you're having the heart attack, you can't go grab the phone and dial 911. So, lesson learned, always have somebody with you. So this time when I had the gallbladder, I did have somebody with me, and thank gosh. They need to run around and grab your medicine to pay your bills. I was very, very lucky at that point. And then let's say about 1.5 years later, my gallbladder started acting up again. And this time, you know, with the same fervor and pain. So what did I do? I go to my local gastroenterologist, and he says, you need your gallbladder removed. I didn't know anything about gallbladder removal. So, what did I do? I shopped around and found a place that could do it. I thought we had settled on a price because they told me a price. I thought that was it. I was mistaken at the end. Thank goodness I had saved some money. So I went to this place called Asian Hospital. and that's in, I guess, Alabang, Muntinlupa City. It's around that area. It's number 2 in the Philippines, and I wanted the one hole where they go through your belly button. They can do everything through your belly button. And when I got there, you know, I went to the ER and told them I needed a surgery. They scheduled it for the same day. And the doctor told me that hey, where's my dog? They don't do those type of surgeries because it kind of deforms your stomach, makes you look all messed up afterwards. So they said they would make sure they try to do the 5 small holes, the keyhole surgery. Okay. And if I had gone to some hospital out in the middle of nowhere, they would have did the one cut. The one cut is like the spear of Jesus, where they stab you in the side. They slit you open sideways so they can get in there with no problem if they don't have the specialty tools. And so I got the 5 holes. I'll try to post some pictures of my before and after surgery. Thank God I called a friend, and she came and you know, stayed there even though she had a job. She's an angel. She stayed there when I was you know, recovering, because again, yeah, you need somebody in the room. My gosh. God created Eve for Adam to dial 911. That's a joke. But anyway, man is not supposed to be alone. It was never the design of the Creator. And so, luckily, you know, nothing did happen. But if it had, you need someone in the room to be able to go and send for help. My dad recently died in the hospital of a heart attack. And so, if there had been someone, I wasn't there because I'm over here in a foreign country. If I had been there, maybe I could have dialed the nurse, saved his life, but nobody was there. It was his time to go. And so, like I said, if you want to live as long as you can, as healthy as you can. Hey, there's my big King Corso. Where are you, baby? Hope he doesn't jump over and grab me. Like I said, they have the bite of a lion. They can crush your bones. They're the Italian bodyguard dog. If you want to live a long time, have a wife, have a girlfriend, have a bunch of people who live with you. Any of those scenarios, just don't do it alone. Loneliness and being alone, it's not really good in the long run. So I did get my gallbladder taken out. Before, they had told me it was $2,000 cash. When I got through, I looked at the hospital bill. It was $8,000 cash. And so I don't have insurance, and I didn't pay for the medical discount plan. So my gallbladder is taken care of now. Thank goodness I don't have that problem. It cost what it did. Come here, puppy. I could have flown back to Hawaii, but there's a risk. When they took my gallbladder out, it already had, hey, shh. It already had gangrene on the end of it. And then you're saying, well, okay, so here's the risk. What if I had waited another 48 hours? The gangrene would have turned to septicus. Septicus can lead to other things like blindness or whatever else, the other things that septicus can kill you. Septicemia is a very, very bad disease. MRSA is a methicillin resistant Staph aureus strep. So that's a type of SA. Staph and strep. Needless to say, septicemia is a resultant. So I'm very lucky. I've heard of other people dying after their gallbladder surgery because septicus stepped in. Stepped in and stepped in. I guess that's the word. I don't have any problems now. No more gallbladder. I guess I gained all my weight back. It's probably not good in the long run. But I would say the Filipino doctors, just as good as American doctors. Probably not go to some rural, remote hospital unless it's emergency. Anything else? Like I said, you know, go to the doctor, get your yearly checkups. If you want to go twice a year. For my PSA, because we have a chance of cancer, like chance of rain, I get it checked twice a year. And so I'm very happy with the service here. If you want laboratories, like you say, hey, I want to get my blood checked, I guess it's like $15. And for a PSA, prostate exam, blood test, it might be $30. And this is the last shocking truth. For you to see a specialist at a normal hospital, it's like $8. $400. Yeah, it's $8. And let me ask you, how much does it cost to see a specialist in America after waiting 3 months? If you're on a cash basis, I would probably say $350 to $400. And you could go see all the specialists in one day if you want to. All right, thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more video clips.